Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? It's awfully bright in here. My husband changed the light bulbs and he didn't have the right size, so he's like, they're just a little bright. And I was like, why didn't you just put one in instead of two? And he'll forget about it because this is the storage room, and then I will be reminding him that we need to change the light bulbs. Yeah. So anyway, I was going to tell you about the chickens. Okay. So remember the group of chickens that my husband had his friend hatch, Okay. So they have gotten very big and they are finally outside in a hunting shed. I call it a hunting shed. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a little tent you put up for your, your lawnmower or what it is. It looks like a shed. Looks like a hunting shed or an ice house. But anyway, they were starting to fight in the garage. Like I came home and there's two roosters fighting, like literally like kickboxing chickens. And I asked my husband about it and he's like, oh, he goes, we must have got some of the fighting chickens that he raises. I'm like, what? like what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, he raises fighting chickens for people, like literally all over the country. I'm like, fighting chickens? Like, they're in there kickboxing, and the bad thing is they drew blood. Okay? I guess it's not just fight to the, so they drew blood, but basically that chicken, you draw blood and they attack the other chicken, the one that was bleeding. Yeah, they like beat him up and it wasn't good. He was dead. Yeah. But I don't know. And I'm just like, this is not good, honey. And he's like, well, what do you do about it? But most of those roosters are gonna be butchered anyway. So, but like, have you ever heard of a fighting chicken? I don't know. It's like, let's just eat them. Can we just eat them? Okay, so if you are here to look for a pretty, cute pour of a soap, a gorgeous, mastered soap person making soap, a beautiful, do what I say, do as I do, stellar video, you're in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. Oh, I had such high... I don't even want to tell you about it. But anyway, so a few years ago, Tree Marie Soapworks had put on this ghost swirl soap on her YouTube. And it looks really cool. And at the time, I just wasn't advanced enough to even try it. Does that make sense? I mean, I usually try almost anything, but I was just, it was one of those things, okay? So this time, Mrs. Soap and Clay was doing a all things water and soap making. Check it out. It's really cool. And she did this ghost swirl. And in watching, I was like, I can do this. I can do this, right? Well, we'll see. It was messy. It was awful. It was just amazingly atrocious too. But what I'm going to have you do is 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you. You are worth it. Let's go check out this video. Okay, to start, a ghost swirl is just made with different amounts of water in the same amount of lye. Okay, so my fragrance oil is in my oils. Okay, my 3 containers right there contain the same amount of lye. Okay, the exact same amount of lye, but different amounts of water. Okay, and this is my crazy looking mold. Yeah. Finally executed and a disaster. But anyway, okay. So each bowl. Okay, so this is the 1-to-1 ratio. Do not do what I do. Do not do what I do. I am basically pouring the oils into the lye, which is absolutely backwards. Totally backwards. However, it is something I used to do all the time. Even though I wasn't supposed to, it just worked better because my pitcher was bigger. My oil pitcher was bigger than my lye pitcher, and so therefore I did it in the sink, and yeah. So I'm not sure why, but they always say put the lye into the oils. But yeah, I didn't. So number 1 on the left, that is the one that has the least amount of water, and it didn't set up. This pitcher here has the most amount of water. Okay, so when I watched her do this, it set up very quickly. Okay, like the first one with the less amount of water, which you would think so, which it should do, which makes the most sense, right? Makes the most sense. But the one that set up for me the best was actually number 2 and number 3. Okay, now when Tree Marie did hers, she only had 2 different ratios. She had one that was less and 2 that were like the 1-to-1, and then however, she just had 2 different. Okay, I have 3. I don't know why. Couldn't get them to emulsion to save my life, and then my stick blender didn't fit in the bowl in my container, and like this was just crazy, you guys. I was just like, this is nuts. Why am I doing this? What am I doing? But you know me, I just persevered through and eventually got them to a decent amount of emulsion. Okay, we'll just say it that way. But I don't understand, because my number 1 should have set up like super fast. It should have been like paste, and it wasn't. Okay, this is number 1. That was too fluid. This is number 2. It's less fluid than number 1. And this is number 3, which here's where my mold goes to hell in a handbasket. It's leaking, which I knew it might, but oh gosh, there's so many things wrong with this video. Yeah, I had let it set up, and then I tried it again, and okay. So there's 3 ounces of oil. It's just a basic 3 with some castor. Baby batches, maybe I'd be better if I did just a normal batching, which I might do just because I, want to try this again. But so I started panicking because it's leaking, and I'm starting to do, you ever see Chilly Willy and he's paddling the water out of the boat? It's a cartoon, it's a classic, you sit there and paddle the water out because you have a hole in it. That's kind of how I felt here. Like I was just like, like I'm going to stop this from, like this is going to set up fast enough for me to, yeah, right? So I did this. I took the dang paper out, poured it in there, I let it set up, okay? So you don't see this, but I let it set up, and then I squished it all forward to where I needed it to be. Okay, I just let it set up like half hour, and then I just pushed that slide up. Okay, I mean, what else could I do? I was like, I'm already, it's not the size I need, and I'm just like, whatever. It will be. It will be. I can make it get there. But, and this is how I spent my morning of my birthday, in my robe, making soap. Don't think this is original, because there's a few soapers I've seen who wear robes a lot. I think it's because their soaping room is cool. I just wore my robe because I didn't want to change. So this is the base of my soap. Okay, same recipe. And look at, I don't understand it. It's set up, boom, just like that. And she said the more water, the longer it takes to get to emulsion. I never have that problem. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, and this one lady was like, oh, when I use my animal fats, it takes forever to get to emulsion. And I'm like, I use like 25% tallow, okay? In most of my soaps. And I tell you what, I don't ever have a problem getting to emulsion. I must be doing something wrong. But I don't know what. That was black oxide. I wasn't taking chances with the activated charcoal because it needs to be sleep popped properly and all this stuff to get a dark color, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't chancing it. It was black oxide. Okay? Black oxide. This is Love of Sunshine. I poured off 1 ounce of that and 2 ounces of Klein Blue to get it with a touch of black oxide in it. Just a touch. Just to darken it just a tish. Okay? Because I want my night sky with my little bits of, you know, the blues and the yellow and the stars and whatever. As a thought process. So when I took it out of the mold, I should have waited 24 hours. I waited 12. I put it in the freezer and I had chunks from my column, okay, my half column. So I decided to put it in the bottom and make it, maybe it will look like it's reflecting some moon or something like that, right? Maybe not. I don't know. It was already so unbelievably wrong that it didn't matter at this point. You know what though? It made really nice soap. Like, it's a really nice soap. It's just your basic 3-in castor, but really nice soap. Because I used it to wash dishes. What can I say? There's my column. Yes, it looks horrible. Or my half column. Those soft chunks in there kind of gave me pause. They're really light. They look spongy. And I'm like, there is no way that is lye heavy. There is no freaking way. Right? No way. Like, it's impossible. They were all the same. And I don't know if that's just a reaction or if it was just because it was only 12 hours old. It could have been. And then you stuck it in the freezer, you know. But we'll talk about that later. And I'm sorry, I had to do a bowl swirl because that was what was needed on this. So I'm sorry, you're watching another bowl swirl pour. I promise to do as little of these as possible in the next few months. Unless they're absolutely necessary. But yeah, basically hoped that I had enough soap underneath that there were no holes and poured this on top to make a nice dark starry sky. That was my plan. That's my plan. I have lots of plans, and you know how those go. This did not set up. Like, it was still so fluid. I was going to sculpt it, and then I decided that, no, we were just going to, I was going to pull that yellow over. There was so much yellow on that side, and that was it. Nothing fancy. Oh, I did put some eco glitter. I put some eco glitter on it. You know, it's a starry sky. It needed something. Sometimes you just gotta do the bling. And don't worry, it washes off on the first time you use the bar, so. Okay, to the cut. Oh my gosh, guys. Here we go. Are you ready? Okay. Ta-da! Looks like a cloud in the, moon over the clouds. But that's the only one that looks that way. The other ones look like this. Is that not crazy? Look at that moon. Look at that moon. Even if I can't... Okay, we'll get to the pH levels, but I mean, look at that moon. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And look at that sky. It is like, it's there. It's that beautiful dark sky with the rising moon and the landscape. And I don't know what the white chunks are underneath, guys. Reflections of the moon, maybe. I don't know. And a nice hole. But I was shocked. Super shocked. So, talking pH. I normally don't pH my soaps because I don't really worry about them. Like, it's not a thing you do. But that white, even though I know it's supposed to look like that, that white had me worried. Had me a little worried there. And so I did a couple tests. There's different ways you can pH a soap. And I did the zap test on one. That's where you stick your tongue on it, and if it zaps you, it's lye heavy. I don't know how people do that with hot process soap. I love blogs that say, oh, you can just zap test. I'm not going to zap test a 200-degree hot process soap. Are you kidding me? I'd rather burn my tongue on hot coffee. But yes, they call it the zap test. It's supposed to, like, you know when you touch a 9-volt battery to your tongue? Yeah, that thing. Okay. So, and then there's the pH where I have pH strips. So I actually pHed just the soap itself and got a pretty dark color. And then I pHed it like you're supposed to. You put a little water with it, pHed it, and it was fine that way. And I waited a couple days, about a week, and when I pHed it again on that spot, it was much farther down. So I was really happy about that. I was just worried, you guys, just a little worried about it, because it is such a different look. So what I do, I did it again. Soap number 2. Sorry, this filming's gonna be a little different because I was using a little different thing, but I decided to put silver mist in my oils, and my fragrance oil is in there also. Again, I have the 3 containers. The first one is 48% lye concentration. Okay, so that's almost a 1-to-1, and it's 2-to-1 and 3-to-1. Okay, so you got that? Okay, now don't do what I do. I really don't know why you can't do this. Like I said, I use the soap all the time just for convenience. I always put my oils in my lye water. Always. I always soaped at 120. Always. I don't know why, and I didn't have problems with it. Really. If you get steric beads on your soap at 120. It's just a lot easier. And I had the same problem I did before. Nice job mixing that mica, girl. Well, it had sat in there, for a little bit, and I should have stirred a little better, but I kind of had the same problem. I didn't have a problem getting it to emulsion because obviously I, took my stick blender to it, made sure my containers would fit in there. So that's the first one. That's the 1-to-1. It's actually 1.08 or something like that. Water to 1 lye. That's the ratio. That one is the 2-to-1 water to lye, and that is the 3-to-1 water to lye. Yeah, I didn't really have much of a problem getting it to emulsion. I did not end up with thick soap though, guys. Like, she had dang near soap dough. I did not. I don't know whatever. I did my mold. It was a little smarter. You can even see as you pour the different, it almost looks like different colors, which is why they call it a ghost swirl. I bet this would be really pretty in like a white bar. She did, Tree Marie did a white bar. Really pretty. But yeah, I decided to prop my mold up just a bit so that it hopefully didn't, leak. It actually didn't leak at all, shockingly enough. So if you have one of these column molds, you can just butt it up against each other and rubber band it and use it for something else. Yeah, it's called Being Creative 101. I have a lot of creative thoughts. It's just executing them sometimes that's the problem. But basically did the same exact thing, okay? Same exact thing. And it did set on the counter overnight. I did spray it with isopropyl alcohol, and I let it set 24 hours. That was the only difference. And I didn't need to put it in the freezer, interesting enough. So back to the Love of Sunshine and Klein Blue with a touch of black oxide, and yes, same recipe as the moon. Okay, same recipe. It's the, what is it? Oh, basic 3 with castor. Yeah. And so, yeah, and I think it's 1% castor. It's not a high amount of castor, but it's a really nice soap. Like I said, I used it for washing dishes, and it was really nice soap. But anyway, probably not for washing dishes, but when I say soap, I mean it's like nice bubbly lather. It was nice feeling, you know. So we did the 1 to 2 to the black oxide. Interesting enough, it almost looks like I don't have enough black oxide in this one as I did the other one, and I swear I followed the directions. So I don't know. Did the C-pop not work exactly correctly? Yeah, this one was in there quite a bit. That was the same length of time overnight. I don't know. It looks black enough, but interesting enough, it wasn't black enough. So being I didn't have any, the only difference, see, look at that one. It got hot. It kind of had some sinkholes, and it was a little longer, which was fine. So I had to cut it. Yeah. So it's a little choppy on the end. It's hard, you guys. One thing I have to say about that sucker, it was hard. And it was like barely 24 hours. But I didn't have to put it in the freezer at all. Like, at all. And then back to the bowl swirl. I'm so sorry, guys. All you get is bowl swirls. Yeah, I swirled it. It's interesting, you know, you can try and recreate a soap, and sometimes it's not bad. It's, you know, like my love potion, I can get that pretty close, and the 70s soap, and, you know, certain ones. Like this one, you'll see it. The sky's a little different. It's a little different, totally. And I just swirled him a little bit. Get that yellow. The yellow so, seems so liquid. Probably because it's only 1 ounce of soap batter, and then you have that extra oil with the mica, you know. And then, of course, the Eco Glitter, Hollow Glitter on top for some bling. And here we go. Oh my gosh. Between the goats crying and the dog, I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, I'm going to speed this up. These were cool. I like the moon, but if you really notice, my sky isn't quite as colorful and outstanding as the other one was. I don't have the little soap chips on the bottom, which kind of made it interesting. You know what I'm saying? It just gave it an interesting look. But I'm sorry, these were super cute. I could have maybe put the white on the bottom, like made the bottom white. But I like the black. I like the, you know. These were hard. That is one other thing. Same recipe, same technique. You saw it all. The only difference was that first cylinder was 12 hours old. The half cylinder, the moon. This moon was 24 hours old. And it was hard. But dang, aren't those cute? Here are the fragrance notes for both of them. It is Moonstone by Be Scented. So there you go. Very nice, complex, light blend. And hello, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right, because let me tell you, I love these soaps. Here's the second one. I don't think my clay was mixed up very well, and that's why it gave this guy some more texture and dimension. But hello, there you go. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.